Now, of course, what we don't have is a roughness map for him. That's one of the things with this set of maps, again, just like the specular and reflection, and occlusion difference that we had here. We've got no way to control the roughness with a map, but let's have a look and see what we can actually piece together, shall we? So if we remind ourselves of what our specular map looks like, then, well, we've got, this here, and we see where, where he's dirty or where he's beat up, then it's low. And of course in other areas it's reasonably bright. So let's try this, shall we? Let's get a math scalar subtract here. Let's take that, okay, and let's set this a to 1, so it's going to be 1 minus, let's take our specular map here. Okay, so we've got 1 minus the value of the specular map, and let's have a look at what that looks like. Okay, so now we see that, of course, where we've got these worn or dirty areas, we've got a higher value, and of course on these panel areas like that are a bit shinier, we've got a lower value. And of course over here on the actual metal steel plate, we've got a lower value still. Now that's probably a bit high. We saw that we had, of course, just a little simple 30% roughness, and that was looking quite good. So I'm not wanting to go, hugely above that. Certainly not on these panel areas. I will want to go above it somewhat here on the roughened parts. So let's start out. I'm just going to take this and I'm going to plug it into our roughness setting. Okay, this will help out a bit there. And, just to help me a little bit further to visualize this, I'm going to take the base color here. I'm just going to make it really dark, because that will enable us to see the roughness that little bit more clearly, how it's working out in terms of his specular reflection. Now I think that overall he's just a little bit too rough in many places. He should be a bit shinier. So let's get ourselves another multiply node, and we're going to take the result of that roughness map that we've built, and we're going to multiply it by, let's give it a try at 0.5, shall we? Let's just plug that into color to see how it looks. I'll disconnect it from roughness for a minute so it renders up quicker. Yeah, that's okay, maybe a little bit less. Times 0.3. Let's have a go and see how it looks. Pop it into roughness. Okay, now he's getting really shiny on that, that metal ring, that orange ring here. That's coming in really shiny. How's it on his his main plate? Yeah, not bad. Perhaps a little too shiny, so let's multiply that. Let's go back to 0.5 again. Perhaps a little too rough now, so it looks like I'm wanting somewhere in between, 0.4. There we go, I think that might be pretty good. Spin around, see how he looks. Look at the steel plate there. Well, that's considerably shinier. We see it's looking very rough over there, where he is, of course, beat up, scratched and dirty. Yeah, that's coming out pretty rough. So let's go with that. Pop his regular color back in, and we can have a look at how he appears now. Okay, I think that's pretty good.